YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back with some more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action in the new DLC. So I'm going to be leading Alith Anar and Alarielle, and I'm going to be teamed up with Avalorn, and I have Dov plays on my side, and we are going up against Jonton and Indie Pride, who are leading Norsca, or sorry, Indie Pride's leading Norsca, and Jonton is leading Crone Hellebron and her Harganeth army. So I'm gonna go into slow motion real quick and try and give you all a feel for what's here, because this army is going, or this battle's going to get fast and furious. Up front, Dov Plays has some Illyrian Reaver archers and the Regimented Renowned version of them as well, which is better in melee. He's going to be trying to do some skirmishing. I've brought a lot of the infantry, and it's just cheap spear infantry to try and hold the line while we do our damage elsewhere. I've got 3 archer units, and Dov Plays has some Dryads, and then some Sisters of Avalorn, the Everqueen's Court Guards. So I've got 2 dragons up in the air as well, 2 star dragons to try and bring some high damage power. In the very back, we've got the Pure Main Company, the Scions, so just some of these regiments of renown, and then the Dragon Princes here as well. So lots of cavalry from my teammate, or lots of powerful cavalry from him. So again, I was hoping I could just provide a cheap infantry line and let our damage be dealt elsewhere. The Dark Elves are sporting a front line of Dread Spears, but mixed in we got the Blades of the Blood Queen, which is the Harganeth Executioner. And then here's Crone Hellebron on her Cauldron. She's leading up. She is actually a very, very tough unit. Very dangerous when she gets into the right situation. So out here we got some Norscan Ice Wolves, Skin Wolves, there's some Cold One Knights, a Sorceress of Shadows, more Cold One Knights, a line of Berserkers, which is a pretty solid pick, I think, for the Norskins here. More Armored Skin Wolves, a Werekin, and Throgg in the very back with some Marauder Javelins. So right off the bat, when I saw their armies, I was like, holy crap, this is going to be hard. Because this is a lot of painfully strong units coming our way, and when I think about the units we have, we're very squishy, and it requires a lot of skirmishing, so immediately I start pulling back, and honestly I should have just run and run and run for a little while, because we are going to have an extreme challenge on our hands. We're going to be getting rushed by an overwhelmingly superior infantry force here, so I'm going to try and focus some pain, and I actually miss with the dragon. That was frustrating. I should have gotten closer. They were moving. And my second Dragon Breath here is going to connect partially. So unfortunately, both my Dragon's Breath mostly wasted here. Those Witch Elves get wrecked, but I'm going to drop in on this Harganeth Executioner, because if it doesn't take some severe damage, it's going to immediately break through my front line, and I just can't allow that to happen. So you're going to see me use the Dragons to do some pretty immense damage, but I've got to get away quickly because I'm being pursued by a lot of Norscan pain there. And you can see that Werekin just came straight through my lines. There's no big surprise. I do get a really good spell off here, though. The Fiery Convocation does a huge amount of damage to our enemies along this flank, and I burned out a huge portion of their infantry, but there was more infantry rolling in. I should have waited and let them get fully blobbed up. I was just worried my line was going to rout. But, I mean, you can see that I did tremendous damage to the Dark Elf infantry, but I waited a little too long. There's a Penumbral Pendulum over here that ends up ripping up a lot of my units. So even though I dished some of that damage, then I lost it. And then here, my dragons are getting all tangled up with the Norscan skin, or the wolves, and I can't get them loose, and Throgg is right there as well. So this puts me in a pretty bad position. There's one stupid wolf, like, blocking my escape, and my dragon just can't push it out of the way. And so I end up getting completely KO'd here. Just that one wolf. But you can see, as expected, our front line collapses. Crone Hellebron and her, what do you call it, the Cauldron here is just absolutely wrecking us. We can't hold the front line, which means our archers can't do the damage. And it's really just kind of a slow downhill, or at this point, actually a rather speedy slaughter. I see a good Dragon Breath opportunity over here, so I'm going to take that. And I'm going to land a decent one here. We're going to do some pretty good damage, trying to help free up the flank, but it's not going to be enough. And at this point, if I land my dragon, it's just going to die. I don't have any good options. It's a banishment over here. It's going to do a little damage to some of the enemy troops in the vicinity. But again, at this point, there's not much we can do. Alith Anar is just falling back, and I'm trying to continue to skirmish. I've been doing some damage to Crone Hellebron, but not a lot. My high mage back here hasn't been able to do much other than just try and heal my dragon. So, and right here I've used the special ability of Alith Anar to just try and distract. But obviously Anti-Pride knows how that ability works, so he's not wasting his time. You can see none of his units focused on the false image there. That ability will be much more useful in campaign than it will be multiplayer. But yeah, we're completely overrun. So Alarielle the Radiant and a dragon is not going to be enough to overcome this. Throgg does a ton of damage, anti-large damage at that. So mix that with the Skin Wolves and the Cold One Knights, and this dragon just does not have a chance to finish this fight up. I'm going to drop my last breath attack here. Again, none of my breath attacks actually ended up landing very well, so unfortunate for me. Look at the Alarielle here using the Star of Averlorn. It's a pretty cool looking ability. Won't be enough, but man, that's a cool looking ability. I hadn't seen that yet. I saw these berserkers separate out, so I was like, I'll go over here and see if I can terrorize out some of these enemy troops, maybe a little bit by little bit. And I was hoping the berserkers would just, you know, get completely terrorized on the charge by the dragon, but they were like, nope, we ain't scared. We're Norscans. We monster hunt all day. Star dragons are nothing. So yeah, they apparently just did not care about being attacked by a dragon. I figured the terror effect would happen really quickly, and then we could rout these guys, but nope. Here comes the stinking armored Skin Wolves. If you didn't miss these guys, well then get ready, they're back, and they're going to be ravaging their way through multiplayer and campaign. If you did miss them, then guess what? They're back. Yeah. Anyway, Dovplays and I got absolutely wrecked here. Our armies were definitely not well suited to what was brought. We had a lot of skirmishing component, which obviously was going to be fun to try and bring, because that's what these factions are good at. I didn't bring a bunch of Shadow Warriors, though, because I was worried about the Norskins having so many wolves and stuff, and sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So I'm kind of glad I didn't bring those units. But then part of me kind of regrets it because I was playing as Alith Anar. Maybe if I would have brought a bunch of Shadow Warriors and then just had some cavalry to help protect them, that could have been a fun way to play the game. Try and skirmish these guys out a little. Whoa, Throgg just vomited all over everything. I like how he just indiscriminately pukes all over the fight. So yeah, there's no hope for us. We're done here. Alarielle is probably gone. My dragon's fighting for his life over here, but not going to work. Again, Norsca not scared of those monster hunts, right? So yeah, we got wrecked. It said valiant defeat, but that was a crushing defeat at the hands of Anti-Pride and Jonton. We got slaughtered. They had a ton of their troops left. So again, I don't know where this whole valiant defeat thing comes from. Definitely a crushing defeat. But fun game, guys. We came with a way too weak of a front line here. My spin on these dragons didn't end up being worth it. My first dragon got wasted because I landed too close to a bunch of Skin Wolves and stuff. Plus, there was just too many of those things on the ground to begin with. It wasn't going to work out. Really probably shouldn't have brought the dragons, and I should have just gone heavier on infantry and cavalry, because dragon princes would have been very strong compared to what was being brought by the other team here. And so dragon princes could have been a worthwhile unit up against Cold One Knights. And then also infantry, having some sword masters and other infantry to help hold the line longer, like some armored infantry, would have negated some of the ability of these berserkers. Definitely good units, but they're not as good at hacking through armor. And then Jonton's army, same thing here. Really only one anti-armor infantry, so some tough infantry could have helped. It still would have been tough, though, because Crone Hellebron can cause a lot of damage to that infantry while she's on her little blood cauldron. But again, if we had more cavalry and stuff to hit her with, maybe more helpful. But she is very powerful. There's some of the people already having discussions as a group as to whether or not she might be a little too strong. Obviously, none of that is settled in yet, and we'll see. But she's definitely going to be a strong lord for the High Elves when you consider her cost range. At least that's my expectation based on where I see her at right now. So anyway, hope you all enjoyed the battle. I will be back with more soon.